Will I triumph over the disasters and panics of the day? The nature of disaster and panic every day, new crises emerge. A sudden headline, a personal setback, an unexpected bill, an argument with someone you love. In these moments, panic surges, the heart races, the mind scrambles. You feel as though the entire world is collapsing in on itself. The Stoics knew this feeling well. They lived in times of wars, plagues, betrayals, and political upheaval. And yet, they discovered something extraordinary. The disaster is not the event, the disaster is our reaction to it. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The earthquake may shake the ground, but it is panic that crumbles the soul. The insult may sting, but it is anger that poisons the heart. The loss may hurt, but it is despair that destroys the spirit. Marcus Aurelius, surrounded by chaos as Emperor of Rome, reminded himself, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This is the key. The event is outside you, but the judgment, that is yours. So when panic comes, ask yourself, is this thing truly destroying me? Or is it my judgment that makes it unbearable? The truth is this. Most disasters of the day are not fatal. Most panics pass more quickly than they arrive. It is the storm inside, not the storm outside, that unravels us. So the first step to triumph is recognition. See panic for what it is, an impulse, a reflex, a surge of fear, not the truth. Once you can separate event from reaction, you create a gap, and in that gap lies freedom. The Stoics remind us that life will always bring trouble, but panic is optional. And when you remove panic, you discover that the disasters of the day are not masters of your life. They are teachers, tests, opportunities to grow stronger. Before we continue, I want to share something important with you. We've seen that a large number of our viewers, perhaps even you, listen regularly, but haven't yet subscribed. If this message has resonated with you so far, if you find even a moment of stillness or clarity in these reflections, we kindly ask you to consider subscribing. This channel is not about noise, it's not about trends, it's about service. And I can promise you this, our small but committed team will continue doing everything we possibly can to bring you value every single week. Thoughtfully researched, carefully written, quietly powerful. All we ask in return is that you join us by subscribing and turn on notifications so you never miss your next moment of insight. Let's walk this path together. A crisis feels like the end of the road, but to the Stoics, it was never the end, only a training ground. Epictetus compared hardship to an Olympic contest. He told his students, the greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. Skilled pilots gain their reputation from storms and tempests. In other words, no one honors the sailor who only steers in calm seas. It is the storm that proves the captain. Think of the last time panic rose in you. Maybe it was a sudden bill, a mistake at work, a conversation that turned sour. In that moment you felt overwhelmed. But what if that very moment was training? Training in patience, in clarity, in courage. The disaster was not a punishment, it was a lesson in disguise. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that every obstacle is fuel for virtue. He wrote, "The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your crisis is not just a stumbling block, it is the very raw material from which strength is built. Seneca advised rehearsing hardships deliberately, eating simple food, wearing coarse clothes, practicing discomfort. Why? So that when disaster came uninvited, the soul was already trained to endure. He said, "A man is not unhappy because of adversity, but because he has not prepared himself to endure adversity." This is the shift. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this preparing me for?" The crisis becomes exercise, the disaster becomes curriculum, the panic becomes practice. Think of your life as a series of drills. The difficult client, training in patience, the unexpected illness, training in gratitude for health, the financial setback, training in simplicity, the betrayal, training in forgiveness. Each one strengthens a muscle of the soul. And when repeated, these muscles grow. So the next time disaster strikes, see it not as an interruption to life, but as life itself. A moment calling you to rise, to practice, to train, to become what philosophy has prepared you to be. Anyone can appear calm when life is calm. Anyone can seem wise when nothing presses on them, but the true measure of character is revealed only under pressure. Seneca reminded us, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Without trials, virtue remains a theory. Without challenges, wisdom is only words. It is the sudden shock, the unexpected blow, the uninvited panic that reveals what you really believe. Think of patience. When everything goes smoothly, patience is easy. But when delays mount, when tempers flare, when nothing moves as planned, then your patience is tested. And only then do you discover whether it lives within you. Think of courage. When there is no danger, courage is cheap. But when disaster strikes, when fear floods the body, then you know whether your courage is real. Marcus Aurelius, beset by wars, plagues and betrayal, did not wonder whether virtue was useful in calm days. He wondered, "Will I remain virtuous when everything crumbles?" And he told himself, "You must build your life action by action, and be content if each one achieves its goal as far as possible, and no one can keep you from this." Here is the key. Even in disaster, no one can stop you from acting with virtue. They can strip away possessions, health, reputation. But they cannot strip away your choice to act justly, courageously, wisely, and with temperance. Epictetus challenged his students to view every panic as an examination. He would ask, "So you have studied philosophy? Show me then in your response to misfortune. Show me in your calm. Show me in your steadiness." To him, each disaster was an exam day, not of memory but of integrity, not of recitation but of action. So when panic strikes, pause and see it clearly. This is your test. This is where your beliefs prove their worth. Will you live by what you claim to believe or abandon it at the first sign of fire? In this way, disasters become opportunities. They strip away pretense. They reveal your true self. And if you respond well, they do something even greater. They strengthen your virtue for the next trial to come. So do not flee the test. Embrace it, because only through testing can the soul prove what it is made of. Calm is not something you improvise when disaster strikes. It is something you prepare daily, like a soldier sharpening his sword before battle. Marcus Aurelius began each morning with a meditation. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, "The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they cannot tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and I know that the wrongdoer has a nature related to mine." He rehearsed in advance the trials of the day, so that when they arrived, he was not surprised, he was ready. This is the first discipline, anticipation. Expect hardship. Do not be naive. Trouble is not an intruder, it is a resident of life. By expecting it, you blunt its power to shock you. The second discipline is breathing. The Stoics may not have written extensively about breath, but they practiced it instinctively. When panic rises, the body tenses, breath shortens, the mind races. Pause, breathe slowly, deeply, intentionally. Inhale the present moment, exhale the imagined catastrophe. This simple act anchors you. It tells the body, we are safe. And when the body calms, the mind follows. The third discipline is reflection. At the end of each day, Seneca urged his students to review their actions. He wrote, "When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, aware of this habit of mine, I examine my entire day and go back over what I've done and said. I hide nothing from myself. I pass nothing by." By reflecting, you prepare for tomorrow's storms. You see where you faltered, where panic ruled you, and you resolve to meet it differently next time. And the fourth discipline is simplicity. The fewer distractions you allow into your life, the easier it is to remain steady when trouble comes. Too much clutter, too much craving, too much noise, these make you fragile. But a simple life makes you resilient. Together, these daily practices form a shield. Anticipation prepares your mind. Breathing anchors your body. Reflection sharpens your soul. Simplicity keeps you light and steady. So do not wait for disaster to practice calm. Begin today, because triumph is not luck, it is preparation. and the one who trains daily in calm will not be broken when the storm arrives. The final step in triumphing over disaster and panic is perspective, because while events may swirl around you, the meaning you assign to them determines your peace or your torment. Epictetus told his students, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." A single event can ruin one person and strengthen another. The difference is not the event, it is the perspective. Take a storm at sea. The sailor may curse the waves. The fisherman may welcome the churned waters for their catch. The philosopher may see in the storm a lesson about the limits of control. Same storm, three perspectives, three different experiences of reality. So when disaster strikes, you must ask, what story am I telling myself about this? Does it weaken me or does it strengthen me? Marcus Aurelius often reframed events in simple, blunt language, stripping them of panic. He would write, "This is just a dead fish. This is just a broken jug. This is just a child's toy." By naming things plainly, he reduced their power to disturb. The disaster shrank to its true size. You can do the same today. When you lose money, remind yourself, it is only money. When you face insult, remind yourself, it is only words. When plans collapse, remind yourself, it is only plans, not destiny. This perspective is not denial, it is clarity. It is refusing to give panic more power than it deserves. Seneca declared, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And isn't it true? Most panics are not about what is happening now, but about what might happen next. The disaster grows monstrous in the mind, even when reality remains survivable. So here lies the final triumph. If you can master perspective, no panic can rule you. You may still feel fear. Fear is human. You may still feel grief. Grief is natural, but you will not be enslaved. You will see through the storm and stand unmoved at its center. Triumph, then, is not the absence of disasters, but the refusal to let them master your soul. The Stoics remind us that the true battlefield is always within, and if you win that battle, every external storm becomes powerless. So my friend, the next time panic comes, pause. Remember what the Stoics taught, reframe the disaster, breathe, stand firm, and ask yourself, will I triumph over this? The answer always is yes, if you choose to. If this reflection gave you strength, we'd love for you to subscribe to this channel. So many who watch have not yet subscribed. And we want to promise you, like the team at Diary of a CEO does, that we will do everything possible to bring you value, week after week. Click subscribe, turn on notifications, and walk with us on this path of ancient wisdom for modern storms.